listening to Give God 90, where we're not afraid of the tough biblical questions, because we will dig through the language, the culture, and the history to find the truth revealed in the words of our Creator.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me this evening. Yes, it's still just me. Myra is still taking care of her parents. And if you happen to be one of the new folks joining, typically my wife Myra joins us when we do the live podcast. And her mother is very, very ill. In fact, she is back in the hospital. And while we do have a preliminary diagnosis, I am not going to say what that is until the rest of the family knows. So tune in Monday, and I will be able to let you know then. But it's interesting to watch this unfold, and I've seen this unfold in my family when my parents passed. I watched this unfold in other families, and I'm going to say this. Our response as believers is extremely important to the people watching. We can either be self-centered, right? Or we can, and I'm not sure how to explain this. We can either be focused on ourselves and our desires, or we can choose to be focused on the Creator and His desires. Whatever He wants to do. Because let's face it, it's His universe. We have to live by His rules, and He will do things His way. So, as long as we're glorifying Him in everything that we say and in everything that we do and in every response that we have, that is the most important thing we can do in these situations. So, thank you all for your prayers. Thank you for your support. We appreciate it so very, very much. We've had some... There you go. We're doing it. Myra says we're doing as he commands by honoring our parents. We absolutely do. I've had some people message me this week and let me know they're praying, and we appreciate that. We really, really, really do. It's a good thing. This week in the United States, we remembered 9/11, right? Now, how did the United States respond? A lot of people are going to say, well, we went to war. Yes, we did. That was retaliation. But how did the United States actually respond to 9/11? That's something to think about. Because when we are faced, when we're not doing the things we're supposed to be doing, we're often faced with some type of adversity. We remember when Jonah, right, he was told to go to Nineveh. And he says, y'all need to repent. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But he walked across Nineveh and said, you need to repent or something bad's going to happen to you. And of course, in Jonah 3:10, we read that God saw what the people did. They repented. He saw that they had stopped doing evil things. They had a change of heart nationwide. So God changed his mind and did not do what he had warned. He did not punish them. Sometimes when we're faced with things, we are given the opportunity to stop, take a breath, and say, maybe I'm not going the right direction here. maybe I need to change. Maybe I personally need to change. And that brings me to what I'm wanting to talk about today. I want to make sure that I say, I'm glad that you're spending some time with me. And if you haven't been to GiveGod90.com, make sure you check that out. There's all kinds of good stuff there. The other night, not quite a week ago, it was during a fellowship that I am part of. I was reminded of a verse that I've been wanting to look at in detail. And I'm going to confess, I just haven't had time to get to it, okay, until now. And this particular verse, like a lot of other verses, it contradicts what so many Christian denominations are teaching. The concept, the idea that they're teaching is that because the Creator is not restricted by time as we know it, he's not restricted by space as we know it, he's not restricted by anything that we can imagine, that concept has led to this idea that he has predestined our responses to the things that happen in our lives. It's pretty basic. It's pretty simple. Well, because he knows what we're going to do, right? Well, maybe not. And that's what we're going to look at. What a lot of these denominations are teaching is that our choices are not our free will. They are predestined, right? They're predetermined. We can't choose between good and evil because he has predetermined our actions. Interesting. I look back at Genesis chapter 2 where it says, I've given you all this food to eat, Adam. You can eat anything except this fruit from this tree. That's interesting. On a lot of levels. What the Almighty's explaining to Adam is he has free will. He can choose to live or to die. He can choose. Wow, what a concept. And I'm not going down this rabbit trail, but not right now. I will do this, and I've been planning on doing this. I've been wanting to do this. But the Almighty's first choice for Adam is in the food that he eats. He can choose to live or die based on food. Like I say, I'm not going down that rabbit trail tonight, but I will probably next Thursday. I have something else planned for Monday. But I want you to think about that. Now, the verse I'm referring to tonight, are we predestined? It comes from Jeremiah 32:35, and this verse is actually the Creator's response to Jeremiah's prayer, and Jeremiah is asking for understanding. Why was I supposed to purchase a field when the land is under the control of the Chaldeans? I'm trying to understand this, but I'm not grasping it. Lord, you got to throw me a bone here, right? Give me some information. The Creator's response boils down to this: they, meaning the Chaldeans, have built high places. Well, not just the Chaldeans, but a lot of the people in Israel. They have built the high places in Baal in the valley of Hinnom to make their sons and daughters pass through the fires of Moloch. They were sacrificing their children to Moloch in fire. And he goes on to say, something I have never commanded them, nor had it ever entered my mind. Nor had it ever entered my mind that they should commit such an abomination and cause Judah to sin. Let me read that again. They've built the high places of Baal. They were worshiping other gods in the valley of Hinnom to make their sons and daughters pass through the fire to Moloch. Something I never commanded them, nor had it entered my mind that they should commit such an abomination and cause Judah to sin. Now, did the Creator already know that the people would sin? Of course he did. We're mankind. We're human beings. It was practically a certainty. You know, after all, Moses told the people that they would sin, right? Back in Deuteronomy. When all these things come upon you, the blessings and curses I have set before you, and you call them to mind in all the nations to which the Lord your God has banished you. Okay, they were going to be banished. Verse 2 of Deuteronomy 30. And when you and your children return to Yahweh your God and obey his voice with all your heart and all your soul according to everything I'm giving you today, then he will restore you from captivity and have compassion on you and gather you from the nations to which Jehovah your God has scattered you. He's going to collect you again. Verse 4, even if you have been banished to the farthest horizon, he will gather you and return you from there. Of course, that's Deuteronomy 30, verses 1 through 4. Moses said, you're going to mess up so bad that the Almighty is going to, he's just going to scatter you to the ends of the earth, if that's possible. You know, it's a circle. How do you go to the end of a circle? You can't. It's a figure of speech. But he's going to spread you out among the other people, is what he's saying. The Creator tells Jeremiah that child sacrifice never entered his mind. It's something he never considered that the people would be so evil that they would do this thing. So now we should be asking, if it never entered the Creator's thoughts, how in the world could their actions be predestined? He said, I never considered they would do anything this bad. How could those actions be predestined if it never entered his mind? Well, let me go back. Primarily, okay? We have been given free will. And we can either do what's right in the eyes of the Almighty, or we can do what is evil. Those are our choices to make. Adam, going back to the garden, all these trees, you can eat whatever you want. This tree, do not eat. Do not eat the fruit off of this tree. Adam, I'm putting it here. It's available. The choice is yours to make. You can either live or you can die. When we choose evil, we will experience the Creator's justice, sometimes right away, sometimes in the future. That's His choice to make. You know, when the sons of Aaron got drunk, basically, and they mixed up the wrong incense, it made God mad. That's as bluntly as I can put it. They were terminated immediately. He killed them just that quick. It was His choice to make. When we mess up, it's still His choice to make. Now, sometimes, okay, and here's where I'm going with this. Sometimes, when we choose evil, we experience the Creator's justice right away. Sometimes it's in our future. It's His choice to make. Sometimes, when we mess up, when we make a mistake, He sends somebody like Jonah, right? And He will encourage us to turn around. He will encourage us to repent. Now, He may choose to allow us an experience that would cause us to repent. Maybe that experience is an illness. Maybe that experience is an addiction. Maybe that experience is something else. But sometimes He will allow those experiences to show us it's time to turn around. It's time to repent. It's time to change. There are times that He allows us to reach a point where we feel so broken, so low that we have to look up to see the bottom of down, right? We know in our spirit we've reached a place where our heart is so broken we can't fix it on our own. It's that simple. Sometimes we are allowed to get so low when you have to look up to see the bottom side of down. The Almighty says, "Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Do you really need to get any lower than this?" Now, while most people, when they reach that point, will actually choose to repent, the rest, the bad news is the rest of them will still, they will continue to reject the Creator, and they will die in their own misery. You see, our Creator does not predestine our actions. He does not predestine our actions. We have free will. We can choose. I've used Ezekiel 18 a lot. And there's a reason. That there is a tremendous number of lessons in Ezekiel 18. The soul who sins is the one who will die. A son will not bear the iniquity of his father, and the father will not bear the iniquity of his son. The righteousness of a righteous man will fall upon him. The wickedness of a wicked man will fall upon him. But if the wicked man turns from all the sins he's committed, keeps my statutes, and does what is just and right, he will surely live. He will not die. None of the transgressions he has committed will be held against him because of the righteousness he has practiced. He will live. Do I take any pleasure in the death of the wicked? Declares Jehovah, our God. Would I prefer that he turn from his ways and live? But if a righteous man turns from his righteousness and practices lawlessness, committing the same abominations as the wicked, should he live? None of the righteous acts he did will be remembered. Because of his unfaithfulness and sin he has committed, he will die. Of course, that comes from Ezekiel 18, verses 20 through 24. Notice, though, the Creator is speaking this to Ezekiel. And it's still our choice. If the wicked repent, if the righteous turn to evil, it is our choice. Now, this is both an individual and communal truth, right? If a single person makes a choice, if a single individual makes a choice, they will receive either life or death. It's that simple. If a nation such as Nineveh or any other nation such as the United States makes a choice, the nation will either prosper or fall. The individual will either live or die. The nation will either prosper or fall. Now, the response from Nineveh was to repent as a nation. The response from the United States after 9/11 was what? Well, after 9/11, the United States chose to legalize homosexual marriage. Now, excuse me, marriage is a covenant from the Creator. And of course, that covenant was actually corrupted by the United States in the very early 20th century. But what else has the United States as a nation done to further reject the Creator? Well, we've perverted his sacred word. As a nation, the United States was conceived in liberty, according to our Constitution. But we've chosen to become slaves to evil of all kinds. Not only sexual perversions, but quite honestly, we continue to sacrifice our children in fire through abortion. And as I pointed out before, an aborted fetus is considered medical waste. Medical waste is destroyed by incineration in fire. What will it take for the nation of the United States to repent and not be destroyed? That is actually determined by the people because of the way our government is set up. It is determined by the people. listen to what the king of Nineveh told his subjects. When the word reached the king of Nineveh, he got up from his throne, took off his royal robe, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat in ashes. Then he issued a proclamation in Nineveh. By the decree of the king and his nobles, let no man or beast, herd or flock taste anything at all. They must not eat or drink. Furthermore, let both man and beast be covered with sackcloth, and have everyone call out earnestly to God. Let each one turn from his evil ways and from the violence in his hands. Who knows? God may turn and relent. He may turn from his fierce anger so that we will not perish. When God saw their actions, that they had turned from their evil ways, he relented from the disaster that he had threatened to bring upon them. And that, of course, is from Jonah chapter 3, verses 6 through 10. Now, I am not suggesting that the people of the United States actually wear sackcloth or sit in ashes, although at this point that might be what it takes. What I am suggesting is that we do call out to our Creator earnestly, honestly, with a heart ready to repent, completely, fully, and we live the way that he designed us to live. That's what righteousness is. It's living the way he designed us to live. Not your denomination, whatever it may be. Not whatever your pastor or rabbi says. Not whatever your grandma says. The way the Almighty wrote it. Now, do I think this is going to happen? Probably not. But there's good news. Kinda. If, and there's that word if again, if you as an individual will turn from your evil ways, if you as an individual will repent and live the way you are designed to live, as an individual, you will be protected. Just exactly like Daniel was protected in Babylon. Maybe even to the extent, maybe even to the extent of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, also known in Daniel chapter 1 as Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The choice is yours. You have the free will to make that choice. You have been given the free will to make that choice. And for the folks that don't live in the United States, you can make the same choice. You can repent. You can choose to live, or you can continue to do evil and allow your soul to die. Your actions are not predetermined by a time-traveling God. But your Creator has given you the gift of choosing between life and death. My hope is that you choose life, because we don't serve a Creator who travels through time to see the way things turn out. We serve a Creator who has spoken the end from the beginning. And he gives us the choice to either be with him or to go our own way. God doesn't need to travel through time. He has simply spoken it, and it will happen. God doesn't need to travel through time. He simply says, and it is. our job right now, no matter what nation you're living in, no matter what situation you're in, no matter who you are, where you are, our job is to repent and live the way we are designed to live by our Creator. Not by our denomination, not by what our pastor says, not by what our grandmother says, not by what our grandfather says. Our job is to be the example for the people around us by living according to the sacred word of our Creator. I hope you choose to be that way, to live that way, to change your lifestyle so that you have the opportunity to be the example for somebody else. And I will let you think about that until Monday. And until then, I wish you many, many blessings, everyone.